I now call the Iberia Parish Council meeting to order for September 14, 2022. The current time now is 6:05. We'll have the prayer led by Parish President Richard and the pledge led by Councilman Rossonnet. Mr. Richard.
Before I get started, I would like to recognize my dad. Today is 48 years he's been dead. And it's not a day go by. I don't think about it. And then the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Our Father, which art in heaven.
Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Amen. Councilman Rossonnet.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Francis Tommy Pollard.
Here.
Michael Landry.
Here.
Marcus Broussard.
Here.
Lloyd Brown.
Here.
Warren Gotchison.
Here.
Natalie Broussard.
Here.
Paul Landry.
Here.
James Trahan.
Here.
Scott Ronsonet.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier.
Here.
Lady Fontenay Brown. Scott Saunier.
Here.
And Chad Montgomery.
We have 13 members in the quorum. Moving on to public comments on agenda items, I'll need a motion to go into public session. I have a motion by Councilman Pollard. Second by Councilwoman Broussard. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Number one, Madam Clerk.
Comments from the general public on agenda items.
We do have one from Ms. Cynthia Ulmer to address agenda item 143. I'm sorry, Ms. Elmer. If you can state your name and address for the record, please.
Cynthia Elmer, 900 Verna Street, New Iberia. I'm sorry. I'm here because September is National Suicide Awareness Month. And I'm here to, I put something on y'all desk. I'm inviting y'all to the Acadiana Out of the Darkness Walk, November 12th. And also to give y'all some information that American Foundation was, for Suicide Prevention was instrumental in getting the 988 number passed. In other words, now instead of calling 911 for mental illness, you would call 988, and you're more apt to go to a mental health facility, not jail or, you know, you'd go to the hospital. And also 211, if you put in your zip code, you can get resources on how to help with mental illness. So I just want to let y'all know. Thank y'all.
Thank you. We have no other requests for public comments. Number two, Madam Clerk.
Persons being considered for appointment to parish boards, commissions to address the council.
We do have Ms. Aquilin Arnold to address agenda item 148 for reappointment to the hospital board.
Good evening. Aquilin Rena Arnold, 1428 Gonsalon Street, Jeanerette, Louisiana. It has indeed been an honor and a pleasure serving on the board, and I would love to continue serving on the board and the trust that you all put in me when you appointed me 2 years ago. And I ask that you put that same trust and consider me again for a new appointment. I have seen the hospital board. I was new to it. I've learned quite a bit. The hospital has grown so much, not only medically, but in patient care as well. The care that the patients are now receiving has really, Iberia Parish has really gone above and beyond, and they're at the point where they've actually changed the reputation of the medical center. And I would like to ask that you all would consider me for reappointment to the board.
Members, at this time, is there any questions for Ms. Arnold while she's at the podium? Hearing none, thank you, Ms. Arnold.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Lynn Menville addressing agenda item 149 for hospital board reappointment. If you can state your name and address, sir.
Lynn Menville, 2414 Blue Haven, New Iberia, Louisiana. I'd like to y'all consider me for the hospital board. Again, I've been a board member for 20 years with a span of 8 that I wasn't on the board. And I'd like to say by far this is the best most cohesive board we've ever had. We had some really rough times. And our administration, I've been through at least 10 different administrators, and Dion's really doing a great job. It's, you know, one of the biggest things from when I was on the board, we were always trying to buy Dotrieve. That was the biggest thing. And for 30 years we tried. And then it was owned by a national company, Columbia HCA. And then with Dion and Parker, they were able to pull it off, and it's really been helpful. You know, we have opened the ER now. We have same-day surgery, cardiac rehab. We have a geriatric psych unit with 12 beds. So we're getting a bunch of stuff, and we're getting it filled up. And the hospitals, Dion said it's been profitable 24 years. I don't think that's correct, I think. But for 15 for sure. In 2016, we didn't make money. That's because that's when we bought Dotrieves. And they said it would take 4 years to break even. And in 1 year, we started making money. So she's doing a really great job. And, you know, we have about $115 million revenue every year. I remember having 10 days cash on hand. We have 100-day cash on hand now. So the hospital's really doing well. I think the last 2 years we had $8 million in capital improvements, and it's really doing well. When you have a good leadership team that she's put together and all of the boards working together, there's no egos and walking around the hospital with board chairman, you know, like trying to tell everybody what to do. The administration needs to tell them what to do. All we do is set policy and procedure. So I wish y'all would reconsider me again for the board.
At this time, members, are there any questions for Mr. Menville? Hearing none. Thank you, Mr. Menville, for
Thank
being here.
y'all.
Next, we have Mr. Thomas LeBlanc to address the council for summary number 147 for reappointment to the Airport Commission. Mr. LeBlanc, if you can state your name and address for the record, sir.
Tom LeBlanc, 302 Sawgrass Lane in Broussard. I've been on the Airport Commission for the past 5 years. 5 years, and my term is up, and I guess I'm volunteering to serve again if y'all will have me. I have born and raised in New Iberia. We have businesses in New Iberia, several. We have airplanes at the airport and hangar at the airport, and flying is my passion, my hobby, and where I spend all my extra time. So it's something that really interests me, and if I can help with the airport, I'd be happy to do it again.
Members, at this time, is there any questions for Mr. LeBlanc? Hearing none. Mr. LeBlanc, thank you for being here, sir. Next, we have Ms. Latifah Gray to address summary number 151 for appointment to the Mosquito Control Board. Ms. Gray, if you can state your name and address for the record, please.
Latifah Gray, 157 Victoria Avenue. Hi. I would love the opportunity to serve on the board of the Mosquito Control Board. This would be my first time. So I hope y'all would vote me on and just give me a chance.
Members, are there any questions for Ms. Gray at this time? Hearing none. Thank you for being here, ma'am. Do we have, that's hard to read. Say again? Is there a Ronald Savine in here to address, Savon? Mr. Savon, if you want to.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Members, he's applying for Tourist Commission.
Yes, I put in an application.
If you could just state your name and address for the record.
Ronald Savine, 10914 Old Jeanneret Road, District 11, Jeanneret. Anyway, I put in an application of interest. I have been interested in promoting Iberia Parish in Jeanneret as long as we've been back in Louisiana, which was early 2000. I've served on the Historic District Commission. I've served on the Museum Board. I've served on the Chamber, Landmark Society, brought Jeanneret Lab to town. I've tried to do everything I can to promote Iberia Parish in Jeanneret as long as I've been here. And I was asked if I would mind continuing that effort by serving on the Tourist Commission. I said, sure thing. Can't say no.
Members, at this time, is there any questions for Mr. Savine?
Thank
you, Ron, for putting your name up, man. Appreciate
Thank you very much.
Hearing none,
Appreciate it.
thank you very much, sir. Hearing no other board appointments or people to address for boards and commissions, I'll need a motion to go back into regular session. I have a motion by Councilman Landry, Michael Landry, and a second by Councilman Pollard. Oh, I'm sorry. If you want to state your name and address and the commission you're applying for.
Tammy Gordon for the Tourist Commission Board, 705 West Church Street in Delcombe. I've been on the board for about 16 years with a 4-year span between, and right now I'm presently serving chairman, and I'd like another 4 years to serve to represent Delcombe on the Iberia Parish Board.
Members, at this time, is there any questions for Ms. Gordon? Hearing none, thank you for being here. I'll need a motion to go back into regular session. Had that by Councilman Landry and a second by Councilman Pollard. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to community events and public service announcements. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Thomas Falgood, Director of the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce, to address the council to provide an update on the chamber and the gumbo cook-off.
Mr. Thomas, if you could just state your name and title for the residents.
Sure. Thomas Falgood, I'm the President and CEO of the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce for about a year now.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Just to give you an update on the chamber, you know, lots always going on, trying to promote businesses in our parish. Not just, a lot of people think it's just not New Iberia. That's not true. I'll be cutting a ribbon at Koto Custom Carts next Tuesday. Next Thursday night at Iberia Medical Center, we're having a business after hours in their infusion place in the main campus on Main Street. I believe I'm saying that right. I get those two mixed up sometimes. But you know, lots going on. Ribbon cuttings galore lately. That's good. That's always good. Again, I want to offer, if there's any times that you guys are looking for businesses, want to bring businesses to the parish, and you need somebody from the chamber, call me. I'll be glad to help with that if I can. We want to partner. We want to continue to grow Iberia Parish. There's probably about 300 members right now. We have members from all over the parish, mainly in New Iberia, but we do have some outside of the parish that do business in this parish as well. And then the other thing I want to talk about is just gumbo cook-off. I don't want to spend too long on it because everybody, I'm sure, but it started 33 years ago to pay off our debts on our building. That happened, and now we use those funds to operate the chamber. So it is a chamber fundraiser, and that, you know, that way we can keep our membership dues low enough to where we're not passing all that, because we could not operate the chamber just on dues alone. It wouldn't be possible. But we all know, so gumbo cook-off is October 8th and 9th. On the 8th, this Saturday, it's the meanest beans contest. It's Cajun Creole foods going on, so lots of different kind of dishes. There's also a youth gumbo cook-off, free band. You can come to the event for free to listen to music. We ask that you don't bring ice chests, pets, those kind of things. Any tickets you want, you buy from the chamber for food or drinks or what have you. That Saturday night, that evening from 4 to 6 inside of Victor's Cafeteria will be our Sasse Bon cooking demonstration. That is the only ticket event we have. We cap it off about 70 people. It's a $50 ticket for 2 people, 75. There's going to be an two appetizers, a gumbo, another entree, and the desserts are being provided by Cypress Bayou. There'll be drink pairings with everything, and that's from J.T. Mellick. I believe I'm saying that right. If I'm not, I apologize. That is also taking place. There's going to be music, and it's fun. Of course, it's presented. That event is presented by McElhenney as our presenting sponsor, and Louisiana Direct Seafood Shop is also the tasting sponsor. It's a great event. And then Sunday is the Super Bowl of Gumbo. You're not going to find a better bowl of gumbo anywhere in the world than right here in New Iberia at the World Championship Cook-Off. You're just not. And there's 75 teams this year. I'm hoping 50,000 bowls is enough. I'm getting nervous about that. You know, you don't want to be the first one that says, I don't have any bowls, but, you know, it did happen to us a few years back, but, you know, that was another reason. It wasn't that there's some order issues, but we've gotten all that fixed. We believe Shop Iberia first, so we're going to try to, you know, we continue to do that whenever we can. Sometimes things don't necessarily work out that way. We have to shop out, we do, but we want people to join our chamber when we shop with them as well, so we do that. So Sunday, there's 75 teams. Chicken and sausage is obviously the best, not the best, most category. And we have a professional and an amateur division. There's also a melange category, which is kind of anything goes in that category. If you know, I will say this, there's no tomatoes in gumbo here. There are other places that have tomatoes. If somebody has tomatoes, it would be in the melange category with okra and other things, wild game, duck, whatever. And then we also have the seafood category. Some of you guys I know have cooked in the past, and we welcome you back. I know our judging it's Walter Voorhees has done that for years. This is going to be Walter's last year with us judging. We already have the person we think to do that and work with him. We have the system down, which is good because it is a system, believe me. Nobody knows whose gumbo they're eating when they judge. It's truly anonymous from that standpoint. I was a judge many years ago and thought, yeah, I want to do this. And, you know, how many bowls of gumbo can you really eat? But, you know, there was no rice. That was a good thing. But so a good event, and it not only benefits the chamber, but it truly benefits our economy. So there's probably about close to about $1.8 million that's generated in Iberia Parish through gumbo cook-off, through hotels, through restaurants. Even though it's a huge food event, there are other people who come from other places, and we want to continue to do that. We promote outside of the 50-mile radius to bring people here, but it's a, you know, we want everybody to know why Iberia Parish is the greatest place to live, work, and play, and that's kind of what we continue to try to strive for. I'll answer any questions if anybody has, but if not, that's really all I have.
Members, at this time, is there any questions for Mr. Falgout? Hearing none. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for being here. Let the record reflect, Madam Clerk, that Ms. Brown is in attendance. Moving on to reports from finance or administrative actions. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Balance sheets for July 2022 on request.
Number 2, Madam Clerk.
Budget reports for July 2022 on request.
Moving on to reports from parish or other governmental agencies. Number 1, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Pat Norris, Chairman of the Iberia Parish Airport Authority, to provide an update on the airport.
Got the sand flipped, Mr. Norris. Welcome. If you want to state your name.
Sure.
Title.
Patrick Norris, Chairman of Iberia Parish Airport Authority. First, I need to apologize, Ray. I did bring a PowerPoint thumb drive, but apparently we're having some IT issues right here, so it's going to kind of make my presentation a little difficult right here, so I just ask that you bear with me. Some of the things that I was going to show on it, but a lot of it was going to be for the public's awareness and educating the public on what we're talking about. Some of y'all have seen it already. Basically, it's just something I was going to go over. I'm here tonight right here to talk about our hangar needs at the airport. For a number of years now, well, I've been on the commission for over 7 years, and as long as I've been on it right here, we've always maxed out all of our hangar capacity, both at ARA, at Acadiana Regional, and in Jeanerette-Lemaire. We constantly have a waiting list, ongoing list that could be anywhere from 8 aircraft owners or pilots to up to 12 or 14 that's looking to come here and hangar an aircraft, and we just don't have the available hangar to do it. It stems from all sizes of aircraft, from anything that might take a T hangar to a medium-sized aircraft that, you know, if you're familiar with aviation, that will require a hangar space to hangar a King Air 350 or 200 or King Air 90, which, you know, is an 8-passenger, 10-passenger aircraft, up to a Cadillac of the aircraft industry of the Gulfstream 500, as some of you know it today, which is a large aircraft. Takes a large corporate hangar for this. It's about a 12,000-foot hangar. You can put one aircraft in there like it, you know, with maybe some smaller ones around it. A lot of times aircraft owners or tenants right here will put multiple aircrafts in there and use the aircraft to split up between multiple aircraft tenants amongst themselves. You know, I get asked a lot about, you know, why we're not doing more at the airport, or what does it take to grow the airport, or what do we need, you know, the additional hangar space for. And when we talk about some of these aircrafts, people don't realize that it's not necessarily just an aircraft owner that would be from New Iberia. It could be someone that is from New Iberia. It could be someone that has a business in New Iberia. It could be somebody that is a pilot for someone that is flying an aircraft that may want to hangar, stage it here. We've got businesses in town here that hangar aircraft in Hammond, Houma, Abbeville, St. Landry Parish, because one reason or another, primarily because we don't have the hangar space here. So it's not just businesses or personal aircraft that you know, we have an opportunity to service here. It's nothing for a business owner. In fact, we've got one that hopefully we can get them signed up right here. We may have one coming up that's available. Guy works on the other side of Morgan City. He chooses to come hang here because he does pass through business going here to Opelousas. So, you know, New Iberia is a center point for him, so he wants to put his aircraft here. So it's that variety of things right here that gives us an opportunity to be able to go out and service not only our area but other areas to bring people in, you know, to be able to utilize our airport. You know, like I said, we've got a waiting list. We've got a lot of good things going on at the airport right now. Of course, everyone is aware of the expansion at UL. Everyone's aware of the changes that's coming forth with AVEX and their addition with the product line and the additional maintenance and repair operations they're going to have going on there. All of that is going to be based on additional requirements from us. We have a new FBO that took over in February. I'm going to have him, hopefully I can get him here within the next couple of 3 months right here with a full presentation of a PowerPoint on the renovation of the FBO. Part of the lease for them right here that they had to spend excess of $2 million within a 5-year period. They're going to completely gut the current FBO. They're adding on to the building. They're putting awnings and drive up in the front, adding additional 48 parking spots in the front of the current FBO, and they're going to completely just renovate the whole inside. The last quote that I saw that they gave to me in rough numbers right here, they were going to investing over $4 million in that one facility. So, you know, they're putting money here. They came in, you know, and gave us and met the requirements of what we wanted on our new lease agreement. And they're excited about being here. And they want to grow the FBO business right here. In that, they have a hangar that is part of the current FBO facility that they hang our aircraft in right here. But I mean, it's already maxed out. It was maxed out before. So, you know, part of that is going to be to support what they do. So there's no doubt our need is additional hangar space. You know, one of the things we deal with is Lafayette is landlocked with the new terminal they have over here. What makes me nervous with Lafayette is they did just buy an additional 10 acres about 3 or 4 months ago. The current tenant in there has to stay in there for another year before they can fully take the property over. That was part of the purchase agreement plans. And we're not sure what they're going to do with the additional 10 acres. We don't know if they're going to tear down the buildings they have and build additional hangars to meet their demands, or if they're going to do something else with it. They haven't showed their cards yet. We're trying to get ahead of the game. We talked to pilots and aircraft owners. It's quite obvious that, you know, they shared with us that Lafayette is difficult to deal with. They don't want to deal with the G8 general aviation guy. You know, their thing is the commercial passenger service is what they do. So we have an opportunity to try to take some of those people from there and bring them here to New Iberia and keep them from going to other airports. Because, you know, the owner might be here, the business might be here, but the pilot could be someplace else. And the plane may follow the pilot or vice versa. They'll go as far as Lake Charles. Our biggest competitor in what we do from a commercial standpoint, you know, is Chenault Chenault International and in Lake Charles. They're kind of a sister airport to us. We've got a little bit more property available for expansion than what they do. The advantage they've had over all these years is they have a dedicated funding for their airport. Calcasieu Parish is a lot bigger parish than Iberia. We all know they got all these refineries and these big businesses, and it generates a lot of millages. But I really wish I had their budget that they report, and it's public information to show you. But, you know, their budget as of, I didn't get the 22 numbers yet, but a year ago for 2021, they had cash on hand of $25 million of cash on hand. And over the last 4 years, they have generated over $13 million in ad valorem taxes just for the airport. So they build hangars to build hangars. You know, they've got every available size right now. Pilots and aircraft owners don't want to wait anymore. Either you have it or you don't. You know, we constantly get calls right here, and it's kind of like, man, look, we don't have it today, but I may have one in 60 days, or I can bill you one. It doesn't work. They need a place to put their aircraft in it now, and they're going to go wherever, and whoever's got the available hangars to support them. And they'll fly that plane wherever, that jet wherever. So, I mean, Chenault has it there. They're hard to compete with because they got it readily available, all the way up to the commercial size hangars. They got 90,000 square foot hangars that's available right now. A company comes in here, if they may want to be at ARA, but then it's not gonna, it'll take us 2 years to build a 90,000 square foot hangar by the time we get funding, design, construction done. They're not waiting that. They might not need a 90,000 square foot hangar. They might want 70, but if it's available, they're going to take 90. They might need 100, but the 90 is available, they're going to take the 90. So it's like, in the world we live in today, it's inventory. If you don't have it on the ground, they go and shop someplace else. And it's basically the same thing. But anyway, here again, my PowerPoint showed the hangars that we were after. We're looking at looking for some funding, requesting funding to build 3 box hangars and 1 large corporate hangar that could handle up to a large G5 or a Falcon 900 if you know anything about aircraft. It's not out the norm to have a aircraft of that size come here and be staged here. We've had the opportunities in the past. We just didn't have the hangars available. We only have 1 hangar at the airport that could actually fit a G5 hangar in it, and it's not even a full hangar. It was a maintenance hangar for Bristow that we took it back over. It's not totally enclosed. It doesn't have doors. It's kind of an open air deal. So it's really not, somebody that's going to spend a G5 used aircraft is $30 million aircraft. It's a lot of money. So, they're not going to put this thing in just a barn type hangar that's out there. They want to be able to put it in there, close it up, secure it, and take care of it. Anyway, request is, for a 12,000 square foot hangar that will handle a G5 aircraft or smaller or multiple aircrafts in there, and 3 additional box hangars that will handle the Gulfstream 350s or the 90s or the 200s. That Gulfstream is a twin prop turbo engine right here. It's an 8 to 10 passenger. It is a very common aircraft. It's probably one of the most versatile aircrafts in that level of aviation business right here. They are all over the place right here. And it's not just the King Airs. There's a number of other the Barons, the TBMs. But that one, we speak about the 350 because it's most commonly known in the aviation business for that level of aircraft. So, I'm here today, right here, looking for a request of funding to build these hangars. We went out and had our engineers do some preliminary numbers right here. The numbers came in at $2.4 million to build everything that we're looking for. I would round it off to say, we're looking for a request of $2.5 million to do what we have to do. We constantly look at other possibilities and avenues for funding. Everything from capital outlay. FAA does not give money to build hangars. Their thing is more of improvements of taxiways and runways and things like this, lighting systems and everything else that supports an airport right here. So any type of funding for that, we're on our own to be able to find it. There is some opportunities out there. It's limited. Everybody fights for it. The advantage is having some, I'm gonna call some dedicated funding. So, if I knew we had X number of dollars today to take that, then it's easy for me to go to somebody and say, I've got the match here. What can you give me? Vice versa. We've been asking for what can I get, and the first thing it says kind of like, well, what's your match, or what can you do? So it's the horse of the court type thing. So we want to get aggressive with it. I'll keep reiterating. We need some additional hangars to start moving this airport forward. Not accounting for all the other things that we look to do. The airport, I've been on it 7 years. We have never, as long as I can't speak before, I'm not aware of it, but as long as I've been here, we have never come to the council to be subsidized for anything. We operate within our tenant lease budget perspective. We've passed all our FAA requirements year over year, and we operate a very tight-knit commission. I'm not discounting any other entities or boards or whatever, but I think for the size airport that we have and what we do, I think the commission members, the staff, the director does a very good job on it today. And, we want to continue that. And with everything else we have going on, I think it's a very good opportunity for us to really start moving this thing forward. Questions?
Any questions for Mr. Norris at this time? Mr. Pollard?
Mr. Pat, I hear you saying that you want to add on. This just adding on to some hangers you have, or just building new hangers?
This would be new hangars.
Okay.
And I say add on additional hangars. We need to add on to our current hangars we have right now. And, you know, we've got a location that we have targeted. We've got the infrastructure behind it, you know, so the location we want to put it in is financially is the best place to put it in. We've cleared the line of sight with FAA of where we want to put it. We have an option on putting the 3 box hangars and the large corporate hangar. This is going to be determined in the design stage. We might be able to butt them together to save some real estate, depending on the firewall and the fire marshal requirements and everything right here. But yeah, this is all going to be 3 box hangars individually partitioned for individual planes, and then the one large corporate hangar, which is a 12,000 square foot hangar, 100 by 120 is that size.
I'm good.
Councilman Pollard yields back. Councilman Napier is recognized for a question.
Pat, I don't know if you said it or not. That was pretty intense, everything you said. Do you have tenants that are, once you bill them, are you going?
Oh, we have a waiting list now.
They come.
Yeah.
Or you got
no, we have a waiting list now. We have an ongoing waiting list. You know, and that's,
so it's
it'll run.
It won't be a problem to fill them once you.
Today, Brian, I'll tell you no. You know what happens a year from now? By the time we get it built, you know, we might be in this huge recession or something. Yeah. I can't speak for tomorrow.
No, but I mean.
But I mean, today, whatever, we could put planes in those hangars today.
Today, yeah.
Hands down. And even on the large one, you know, even if we don't have the opportunity to put that G5 in there, you know, I mean, that's the Cadillac. The reason we want to target these big ones is, and I really wish you could see the size of this aircraft for the public to see. I know some of y'all have seen it, but I mean, this aircraft right here, when he tanks up, that's 6,000 gallons of fuel.
Wow.
So I mean, they burn a lot of fuel, and they carry a lot of fuel. And so, you know, not only, so the synergies with that is of course, we work with the FBO for that amount of fuel. He gets a preferred pricing, not the posted price at the pump or on the app that all pilots check and everything right here. And then the airport makes a percentage of that also. So we also get not only the hangar being rented, we also get, you know, synergies from the backside of the fuel consumption.
Do you have any feeling from, like you said, capital outlay or anybody in state government that might want to be on board with, or you looking for the council for the whole 2.5 million?
That would be the most ideal thing, and that would be the quickest thing. Okay, I know the councils. I mean, like, I understand funding with government and everything else right here. I think there is some opportunities that if the council puts their heads together right here, that could come up with that. What I'm asking today is, this is 2.5 is what it takes as of 3 months ago. Okay. When we go out, whatever the bids change right here, we'll have to deal with it. But if I know what we have to work with, and if I have to go out, if the council go back and says, Pat, you can't have 2.5, I'll give you 2, then I know what I have to go do.
Correct.
You know, the more I can go to capital outlay, and Larry and I talk about capital outlay, we work together on that all the time. You know, we had discussions about that today on some other projects going on over there. So when you're going to put money to capital outlay, you know, it's a priority basis also. You know, so we can't afford, it's not in the best interest of the airport, I should say, to be dependent just on capital outlay and get on tier 5. That's going to take 5 years to get to tier 1.
Gotcha.
That 2.5 is going to become 4 million, and then we missed that opportunity.
It's moving up every day. The price is probably not no more good. Yeah. But I thank you, Pat. I appreciate it, and all you and your board does. Thank you so
Councilman
much.
Napier yields back. Councilman Parish President on the question.
Yes. Pat, he's landing on the line very, very direct, and I think he's exactly right. If there was a way where the parish could not come up with the $2 million or whatever the case is, and we could work with our delegation, work with the delegation, since we still have another year or so, year and a half or so left with what we have, and the parish council would agree to put up the matching funds, would that be something that you would consider?
Well, I mean, we'll consider anything, okay? My only question is, you know, back to the state funding project or the capital outlay process, we both know the longevity it takes, you know. So it's like anything else. The longer we wait, the more opportunities we miss, and then the cost goes up. But I mean, yeah, we're open to anything. you know, it's like I said, we could use it yesterday.
Right.
And also, just let me, you know, also, the more we go back to the state, you know, they want to prioritize everything, you know. So we already got a number of other things that we have on our capital outlay request list that's been on there for 2 or 3 years, you know. So it's going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul, you know, which one do you want? And we need so much.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilman Olivier on the question?
Yeah, you consider more about the bonding part of it, and maybe we can help with a partial match or something.
That's open.
Is that
feasible?
feasible?
Yeah, that's feasible.
Because you'd be drawing
you know,
revenue right away when you build.
Right. No, it can be a revenue generated bond. You know,
the
only thing I would say with the bond is, you know, Eugene, you and I have talked and we've met. You know, Larry and I talked about it. We talked about some bonding issues today. So, what would be the bonding capacity that we could do?
Right. Yeah.
You know, because
I would be interested in knowing that.
Right.
What kind of match local government would have to assist you with.
Right. And that's some discussions we can have with Jason also.
Okay.
Once we consider everything else.
All right.
We have a lot of talk going on
All right, yeah.
in the airport area.
Right.
A lot of things going on. I would certainly like to look at. We got some things that I'm talking to the chairman about, and several of the council members about. There may be something that we could do. I can't for sure sit here right now and tell you what we can and can't do. But we certainly looked at a lot of things, and you're already aware of it. What we did with infrastructure, what we're trying to do with infrastructure, but we're about playing that out. You know, so I don't know where we're going to be in a minute, but we certainly could be having some conversations, because with the other work, the possible things that other companies are trying to do there, I think the need for those hangars is going to be even greater.
Yeah, we could be underestimating our requirements.
Absolutely. So we need to look at it. Of course, we had a lot and still have a lot of infrastructure stuff that we're trying to do in that surrounding area. So we have to make sure we can do it, but I'm with you. I think all of those things need to be discussed for real.
Councilman Olivier, you were finished?
I'm done, yes. Thank you.
Councilwoman Brown on the question?
Yeah, I just have a question about Jeanneret Airport. What is it currently being utilized for, and is there any plans? Can hangars be put there?
So we do have hangars there. We've got 2 sets of hangars right here. That airport is primarily used for what we're going to call the weekender. You know, they guys got a small aircraft. All the hangars over there is called T hangars. They basically hold the smaller aircraft that's going to be like a Cessna, 4-seater, 2-seater, things like this right here. We even got some helicopter service working out of there. To bring in the type of aircraft that we need to service and the opportunities that we have takes a bigger runway than what Jeanneret has, you know. But I mean, all the hangars over there are fully utilized. We have a waiting list on those hangars also, you know, so I mean, that airport is being utilized to its potential. Okay, sure.
Councilwoman Brown yields back. Anyone else on discussion? Hearing none, Pat, you reserve the, I'm sorry. Councilman Sonnier?
I had 2 questions, Pat. I know y'all did some preliminary numbers on the hangars. Did y'all do a pro forma to understand basically what we could look at from a return on that?
No, we did not as of yet, Mr. Sonnier, but I mean, that's something we can do.
Okay, and then the second question was in regards to AVEX. I don't know what they call them now. I know they were.
It's still AVEX.
Yeah, I know there's some talk about them trying to expand and things like that. That would be money separate from this, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, the funding requirement that AVEX is looking to achieve right here is solely for the AVEX project. That's going to go solely, you know, to AVEX right here, which indirectly has got synergies for helping the airport right here, but it's not truly giving the airport the additional revenue income that we would get. So it is 2 separate projects.
Councilman Sonnier yields back. Anyone else, members? Mr. Norris, you have the right to close at this point.
Okay. No, I mean, look, I just want to keep this discussion and this dialogue going. However, we have to do it, you know, between Larry and I and you, Warren, or Scott, Finance Director right here. You know, just one more thing that, one thing I want to iterate again right here is, as a reminder, the airport is in the TIF district. So if there's any funding in the TIF balance account somewhere or something right here, I'm open to. I know they got dollars hidden all over the place right here, so I'm gonna have to open up some coffers somewhere or something. But anyway, so I just want to take my last plug.
In October, the budget process does open up, and we do welcome you to that process.
I will be back.
Thank you, Mr. Norris, for being
Thank
here,
you.
sir.
All right, appreciate it.
Moving on, members, to Public Works reports, there is none. Special business, there is none. Council member announcements. Members, anyone on council member announcements? Councilman Olivier is recognized.
The Pilley Jury Association of Louisiana had our executive board meeting last week in Marksville. I'd like to report that we hired a director for the Louisiana Infrastructure Technical Assistance Program. This is a program that the $25 million by the state legislators gave to help write grants for local government. I do serve on that board, and the director, along with the board, is going to be working to try to get the program kicked off in early October. Sometime after October the 1st. They're in the process right now actually doing some interviews with some consultant firms so we can maybe go ahead and hire to work with local government. That's is in process right now. I also attended the Region 8 Police Girard Association regional meeting August the 30th in Wynn Parish, and I'll be attending the another regional meeting in the Claiborne Parish on the 20th of this month. And I would like to advertise that the Grand Area Mardi Gras Association is sponsoring the barbecue chicken and pork dinners on October the 2nd, 2022. $10 a ticket. Anybody interested, contact me or a member of the Mardi Gras Association board. Thank you.
Councilman Olivier yields back on discussion. Anyone else on council member announcements? Councilman Rossini?
I'd just like to thank everybody that attended Monday. We had another town hall in Lowerville. First, I'll thank everybody that was there. First of all, Mr. Parish President Larry Reshaw was there. Mr. Blake Miguez, State Representative, was there. I had the Mayor of Lowerville. I had Mr. Paul Landry. I had Mr. Trunhan. I kind of felt small, man. You know? It's like the little guy around. But it was a great discussion. If anybody wants to come, you can come from any district, or I'll go to your district. We already talked about that on the side. It's just basically an upper level view of the funds, and then we get down into some of the shortfalls and where we at. And the social media has already taken it to a sales tax, and that's not where this discussion was going to be at right now. Okay, this is just an upper level view, just to hand out information, and then to come back with questions. And every meeting so far, I've gotten hit up for a whole hour after, and even the next day, Tuesday, I think it's close to 12 questions that I'm looking for. Make sure I give the right numbers is mainly what I'm after. I have the answer, but I need the numbers. I do not want misinformation hitting the Facebook mafia, which is already out there. So I want to make sure I do it right.
Keyboard Kenny?
Yeah, Keyboard Kenny, you know, they come after you. They're already starting, so. And, you know, I talked about it the other night, and it's a bad word probably, but I'll say it. I said, look, a terrorist is going to walk in a room. Now, by no means do I mean somebody's coming to blow up the building. What I mean is they're going to blow up the agenda. They're going to blow up the process. So we're going to have to watch those people and when I say from my perspective, it's just an information campaign right now. So if anybody wants to come get some information, I'm more than happy to sit down with you. Big setting, little setting, whatever it is. I told them I'd go if it's 3 people or 300. I have no problem. So that's it. But thank y'all for coming again. You know, that worked out great. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Rossini yields back. Anyone else in discussion? Councilman Landry is recognized. The Paul Landry.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad you acknowledge that. On Tuesdays, we've been having the infrastructure meeting. We're kind of doing things a little different in Iberia Parish. We have the grant writers coming, so we're trying to be ahead of the ball game and coming up with a list of things that we need to look at, improve. For the longest time, we've always been thinking, try to get the water from Coteau to Patuville, and we had Jerry Fowler with LAWCO come this week, and I think it's a more eye-opening that instead of us fighting this, and most of us will be dead by the time it gets there, LAWCO has some abilities, and that we could probably look for grants, and they're willing to work with us and things, and how to piecemeal the thing together. And 2 meetings ago, we had Brad Crater with the sewer department came, and he's putting, you know, we all say sewer on Highway 90 and all that, but Brad says, well, before that, you got this and stuff, so he's starting to make us a list. So when the grant writer does come to Iberia Parish, we can lay down a list of things that we need to work on infrastructure. So, you know, we should be getting a pretty good list for y'all as we come.
Good. Councilman Landry yields back. Anyone else, members? I do want to say a couple of things. I've been in conversation with the parish president, when it comes to road repairs, at this point, Cool Creek just is not cutting it anymore. I mean, how many of you would call in your district and the guys do the very best of what they have or the available resources they have? I've talked about possibly $4 to $500,000 of coming up with some other avenue of doing it. You know, it's Cool Creek deal. They can go in a month. It's time to go back again. And it's not efficient for us to continue to have those guys, which is limited on what they can do. So I'm going to come to the council with a proposal at some point in the next 30 to 45 days with additional revenues that, of course, will be in budget by then, but additional revenues to start something different in 23. It's just not working anymore. I mean, the roads are beyond patchable, and the patching that we are doing, and it's no fault to the workers, it's just the Cool Creek just ain't cutting it. I mean, if it's not an average Joe car, it's the garbage truck tearing it right out, or the rain comes in and washes it out. So I'm sure you all getting the heat in your district about it. It's just beyond patchable at this point, or the process that we're using. So we talked about rolling patches. We talked about Hot Creek patches. I think Mr. Trahan had researched a couple different mechanisms that we could use to, I guess, more efficiently apply better, whatever you want to call it, material to the streets. It's horrible, man. I'm telling you, I've got a lady that calls me, it's at least once a month, and she's real nice about it. She dodges the small hole to hit the big one, and she's, you know, hey, y'all came last month, and it was great, and it's going now. So we can't keep asking the guys to go out to these calls. Dexter, 500 work orders? Where are we right now?
80 requests.
Just patching, correct?
80 requests. It's not going to get better.
So again, our main guys, or most of the head guys there in Public Works are here. I mean, I'm telling you, when it comes to budget, I'm going to fight for 400,000 or 500,000. And look, at the end of the day, we know it's not a resurface program. It's got to be something better out there that we're doing than we're doing currently. Yes. It's got to be. And we've talked about some of the issues with salaries in those departments. It's just not enough anymore. I mean, we all seen it in our business. Paul, I mean, you seen it, the increase, right? Inflation, Brian, everybody, materials are going up.
Everything.
So at some point, I mean, we can only ask so much of those gentlemen there in Public Works and all departments. I mean, at some point, something's got to give. And I think this budget process is the most important, because it's going to determine what your workforce is going to be like in 2023. And it can't just be on the workforce side, but it has to be on the material side too. So if we're going to get a jump, we have to do it now, because, I mean, we're already being told prices are going up again. So if we have to buy in surplus or bulk, here it is. So I wanted to set the pace tonight. I know it's just public comments or for us, but I want to set the pace for what's coming up in the budget process, because that's what I plan to come with as far as myself. But Mr. Landry, I'll give you that opportunity.
I hear what you're saying, I fully support it. But do we have a plan on where we would get the funds from?
Well, I mean, it's a no-brainer right now. I mean, ARPA's there for this type of reason. I mean, at some point before that money goes away, we have to do something to the infrastructure of the roads. What good is getting to at least laying fiber if you can't the roads unpassable? I mean, and I know some of us are working on a tax, you know, talking about a tax or coming up what that funding is going to be, but we don't have the time to even wait to see if that tax passes. You got to go out and start doing it now. And I'm not saying $500,000 is just a start for the first year, but we have to get creative beyond that. In the general fund, you're starting to see a healthy fund balance again, hard work, discipline. But at some point, we have to start addressing the wounds, because they're only getting bigger.
Right.
And look, I know tax is a horrible word. Look, I was the first to come out against the road tax, but at this point, we fixed to be horse and buggies.
Right.
You know, that's how bad it is. I mean, gravel's looking a lot better than what we have now. I mean, we got issues on Hayes Road that they got to go address, issues on Lobby Road. So it's accumulating. And at some point, I mean, I hate to say it, but I was the villain against the last tax for road. But I really think that council as a whole, we've turned things around. We've been very disciplined, very frugal in some of the things we've done. I think we all agree with that. But at the same time, it's just, you're right, Paul. The best we got is now. I'm off of that. Mr. Montreal?
Just to emphasize on you, it's more than just patching a pothole. If you don't get the water off the streets, get the drainage done.
I don't disagree.
You're wasting your time. And look, I'm having an issue right now in Cotulla. We trying to get something done and we can't because we got the general public that's giving us problems. We got right-of-ways, but they're infringing on the right-of-ways. The guys can't get them done. They're worried about going to get a job done and not get shot. So it starts with drainage, getting the water off the roads to make your roads last. It's a big.
I don't disagree, but we can both agree that there is a funding mechanism for drainage.
Exactly.
So when we talk about right-of-way issues, maybe we, at some point, we have to negotiate better with the landowners. I mean, that's the problem. A lot of this becomes silver issues between these landowners. It's not because we don't want to do it. It's because the landowner on the side of him likes to drain on his neighbor, which causes a problem down the road. And you know, it all falls back on us. Well, y'all didn't go dig the ditch. Well, that ditch doesn't have a right-of-way. And most of the general public doesn't understand that.
But the ones that have right-of-ways, we can't get them done either. So, you know, it just makes the job tough on those guys. And you got to worry about going to work in the morning and see if you're going to get shot for $15 an hour. I wouldn't get shot for $15 an hour for damn sure.
And again, I addressed that pay deal, and I'm hoping that you'll be with me on a plan in this upcoming budget. And look, and I apologize to the council and the people watching. I kind of went off, and it's been a while since I went off on something, but it's like at some point in time, the talking just isn't enough anymore. I mean, people, they're tired of it. I mean, you can see it. I mean, it's, anyone else in council member announcements?
Consider now that infrastructure is not only broadband, sewer, and water.
I agree.
Because one of the main questions, go back to Monday, and I got hit after the next day, was why we're not putting that money on roads. So I'll just leave that on that going forward. Roads and bridges.
That's where we all need to come together.
And bridges.
We got what we spent or already dedicated the ARPA money as well.
Sure, we
can
get
I
that
requested
to you.
one a couple of weeks ago.
Certainly, I think we can get those resolutions that.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then where would the roads fall on our priority list? That we're talking infrastructure, you adding roads to it.
Are you referring to the master plan that we don't have yet?
I hadn't seen that.
No, there is a master plan, but what good is the master plan without the dollars? We're just talking about general repairs.
Well, she gotta
This
say that because
don't
she's trying.
misconstrue what I said. This is just patch repairs. This is not an overlay program.
I get it.
Just, again, the overlay program, Mr. Landry has been talking about it and yapping about it for some time now. Hey, listen, you know what? I'll be happy to have that conversation and bring something to the voters of this parish when you're ready for that.
Is one time, you know, we can go out there and do a bunch of patching, but we're not solving any of the problems.
You're not, but at least you're showing that there's something better than Cool Creek in a hole.
It's got to follow with something else.
All right.
Good. All right, parish president announcements.
In reference to the town hall meeting that Scott had this past week, it was a very good town hall meeting. Had a lot of discussion on roads and roads tax, and I think you did a very good job articulating to the people at that meeting. It appears that most of the people at that meeting is for a dedicated fund of some sort. And I think we need to do that throughout the parish. And of course, if we look to come up with a dedicated fund or go out for a tax next year, I plan on doing exactly that throughout the parish. And I would love to have the support of the parish council to do it. We have about $36 million worth of roads that need to be overlaid in Iberia Parish. $350,000 a year to maintain these roads is not going to cut it. It's not going to cut it at all. And we have to come up with a real fund, a real way of handling roads. The engineering study that we did, I think it called for $1.8 million a year in just road maintenance. That's not overlaying the road. So we can talk about roads for a while, but we know what the issue is. And we know the only way we're going to solve that issue is if we get some kind of dedicated fund for it. And Paul, you're right. We can spend the money that we have on it. It's not going to take care of everything. But I do believe that, and I talked to Dexter, I think it was in the Monday morning staff meeting, we got to do something different than what we're doing. And of course, it always come back to, I only have this amount of money left for the year. You know, you can't continue to just put rocks and asphalt in a hole, and as soon as it rains, the water just picks everything up. So we're gonna address that. Yesterday I had cataract surgery, so I can't read my parish president report. So thanks to my CAO right here, he's going to give the parish president report. And but I can say I can see very well from this eye right now. And in 3 weeks, I'm planning on doing the left eye. And it's amazing when you do this cataract surgery, how clear things. I can look at you really serious now, Marcus. You look a lot different than you did when I was looking at you the other way. But anyway, thank you so much, Bo. Would you do this for me?
Bo Belanger, CAO, on behalf of President Richard. Qualification statements for engineering services for the Water Sector Grant for Sewage District Number 1 were received on September 1st. All responses were evaluated and a notice of award has been issued to Domingue, Zabo, and Associates. A pre-design meeting for the South Lewis Street widening project is scheduled to be held on October 4th at 10 a.m. here in the council chambers. Representatives from DOTD, the project engineer, Meyer Engineers, and the MPO will be in attendance. Preliminary plans are 95% complete for the Louisiana Road Safety Program signing and striping project. The project is being handled by Neil Schaefer for DOTD and should be bid out next year. Some of the parish roads that are included in the project are Captain Cade Road, Bull Island Road, Hazard Road, Leonce Terrio Road, Northside Road, Curtis Lane, and Jefferson Terrace Boulevard. We have started meeting with the department heads to discuss the development of each of their budgets for the 2023 fiscal year. Mr. Richard would like to express his gratitude to Mrs. Kimberly Segura for all of her efforts. This process takes a significant amount of work with tight deadlines, and Kimberly manages to successfully pull it off every single year. Thank you.
And if I can, Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. And that's 3 days on the job, what you hear right here. So that's very, very good. But I would like to, before we get any questions from anyone, I got to put these cheaters on. I would like to thank Michael Broussard for his time serving as the CAO. Michael, you've done a fantastic job, and I appreciate everything you're doing and what you're going to continue to do for Iberia Parish. The changes that we have made in Iberia Parish, I think they're very, very positive changes. Of course, everyone here is putting in more. And I think you guys hitting it on the head for less. But we're trying to do everything that we can do to make this parish successful as the business that it is. We did a little abatement. On September the 19th. We picked up 90 bags of trash and tires and all the things that go with picking up trash. That was on Black Line Road, Marshfield Road, Gondron Road, and that's what we are. That's where we are right now with litter abatement. This coming Saturday, hopefully, we can go down Highway 14 and pick up some of the trash that they have along Highway 14 right now. Thank you so much. Any questions from anyone?
Real quick on the recycle bin in Lowerville.
Yes.
We kind of made a decision impromptu Monday night. We're going to go ahead and pull that off?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
I spoke, just so you know, when you mentioned that, I did go and talk to the mayor to see exactly where he wanted it, and he really didn't say exactly where. So you and I would love to talk to you and the mayor to find out, to make sure we do it in the right, put it in the right place.
All right.
Thank you.
Anyone else with a question for the parish president? Councilman Pollard?
Mr. Richard, on your road striping, how can you get on a priority list? Because in some of the school districts outside the parish, I mean, it's really no striping.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, outside the city limits.
Yeah.
It's really no good striping. For an example, Jefferson Island Road, I travel that every day, and there was some road swapping with that right before Jefferson Island Road from
Jefferson Terrace. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Jefferson Island Road, not Jefferson Terrace. And there was some road swapping, so if we can look at that on.
Yeah, what we did, we have a list of maybe 6 or 7 roads. I don't have them in front of me, that we had Sullivan Associates give us a price to do the engineering. Of course, when you go out on roads and you're doing striping, we don't have people that's certified to just be out there when you have motorists. So we have to have an engineer out there to make sure that when we're putting the stripes, we're putting the stripes exactly where they're supposed to be. And the only reason I'm saying it like that is because we may have spent on engineering costs, Mike, for the roads that we have right now. Since he's catching me and I'm not prepared, how many thousands do you think we spent on just the roads, Kim? Striping. I mean, just for the paint, I can tell you right now, just the paint, Emil Barrett, I think that was $7,000. Keep in mind, all of this money is coming from money that you budget this year. So when you're taking money to do that, you don't have money to do the other things on the roads that you actually You know, so it's I get what you're saying, but we're gonna have to make sure that we come in front of the council and pass resolutions to find additional dollars somewhere to do additional striping. Nothing is free. You know that already, but I'm just telling you, you have to come up with the funds. So if we spend, hypothetically speaking, $30,000, $50,000 on doing striping, we just finished doing the road striping in front of, on north side. That wasn't planned to be done this year like that. So I have $350,000. So if we're spending 50 doing this that wasn't planned, something gonna fall short somewhere. So we have to keep all of that in mind. Not saying we shouldn't do it, but we should budget it if we're gonna do it. So we're in the budget process right now, so that's where we're at.
Councilman, you finish?
Yes, thank you.
Councilman Napier on the question.
So I see that in public health and safety in committee, Andy and Ian's ordinance that, but is there anything you can say here in full council?
What's on the committee? What are you talking about?
I'm about to get there.
Okay.
About what I've been asking for a while now, about the demolition.
Yeah, I think you met with Andy on that last week or so.
Well,
week
we
before last. Can you tell me what y'all talked about so I can see if I can tell you something different?
Well, no, we just talked about the ordinance. I just want to know where we at in District 11 on Louise Street, the demolition of that house.
Do you know where you at on that?
We need to adopt that ordinance. It's going to
has to be
update our ordinance so that we make sure that we're giving all the people of the parish the constitutional protections for their property.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
No, I understand that. But let's say that's done.
Then we're ready to roll.
Are you ready to roll after that? Are you ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll
that?
once y'all adopt it. Once you adopt it.
So once it's adopted,
we have the funding.
That house is ready to, I mean, you got everything else in line?
So we have
Ian?
in the ordinance, the house you're referring to has a absent owner. Nobody knows where he is. That's going to take a little bit longer. We need to adopt the ordinance, and that's going to have the official state, we'll be following state law. That means we can rely on state law for those notice requirements. You get an attorney appointed for that person who's absent, because as far as I know, nobody's ever going to find this person. And if you do, you know, report immediately, because that would speed things up. We get an attorney appointed to represent that person so there can still be a fair hearing that follows constitutional due process.
So none of that has been done because we don't have an ordinance, or
our
ordinance
ordinance does not include those protections. When we reviewed the case law, we found a case where a person was actually handed notice by the city attorney that said, this is where you got to be for your hearing. He went to it, they found it, they condemned the house in a the next level court overturned that. The district court confirmed it. The Court of Appeal overturned it, even though he had been handed the actual document that said you got to be here, and he knew exactly where he had to be and why. So we don't want to fall into a trap where we try to rush for one house. We want to get all houses done right. I mean, that's where we are. So once we get this ordinance passed, we're going to have the curator appointed in that particular case. They've got to make best efforts to give good notice, and then they'll be free to represent the person at that particular hearing. So you're looking at least after Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ian. Anyone else on parish president questions? Hearing none, moving on to consent agenda items for public hearing adoption. We have the minutes, Madam Clerk.
Regular meeting of August 24, 2022.
Summary number 143, introduced by the Clerk of the Council.
A resolution proclaiming the week of September 4th through the 10th, 2022 as Suicide Prevention Week in Iberia Parish.
Summary number 144, introduced by Warren P. Gajasan of District 5.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Dr. Melvin P. Jones, father of Mosquito Abatement District Director Herb Jones, who passed away on August 14, 2022.
Summary number 145, introduced by Natalie Broussard of District 6.
A resolution of appreciation to Mr. Dean Watney, who served as legal counsel to Iberia Parish Government and recently retired from the 16th Judicial District Office.
Summary number 146, introduced by the Parish President.
A resolution requesting financial assistance from the state of Louisiana under the fiscal year 2022-2023 Local Government Assistance Program and Community Water Enrichment Program.
Do I have a motion opening up consideration for the consent agenda? Have a motion by Councilman Brown. Second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Brown. Councilman Olivier. Councilwoman Broussard is recognized.
I want to remove summary number 143 and summary number 145 so we can have a discussion on those matters.
140, say again?
143 and 145.
143 and 145 in accordance to the rules. Is there a reason for it?
So we can have discussion on it.
All right. Anyone else on removing an item from a consent agenda? Hearing none, to accept all except for 143 and 145. I have a motion by Mr. Brown and a second by Mr. Olivier. Roll call vote, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Summary number 143, introduced by the clerk of the council. Do I have a motion?
Move.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard. Second by Councilman Rawson. Councilwoman Broussard.
I know that suicide is probably hitting every one of us pretty closely. It seems to be more and more widespread. This week celebrates the 5-year anniversary of the death of one of my best friend's husbands from suicide, and got to work this morning with news of one of my coworkers losing a child last night to suicide. So Ms. Elmar, I just want to tell you I appreciate that everything y'all do in the community for suicide awareness and prevention, and I know that it's touched home with you as well, and any life that we can save is important. So I would request a unanimous second in proclaiming the week of the 4th through the 10th as Suicide Prevention Week.
I'll hold that to closure. Councilwoman Broussard yields back. Councilman Rawson on discussion. Councilman Rawson waves. I do believe there's a proclamation being offered by the parish president.
Yes, at this time, Mr. Chairman, if Bo could read a proclamation from Ms. Cynthia. And then what I would like to do after that is just get up there and give her the proclamation and take a couple of pictures, if you don't mind. And would you get in the picture with us, sir? Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Answer is yes.
But before you read that proclamation, Bo, let me go to Councilwoman Brown, and then we'll have the proclamation with the picture. Councilwoman?
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what Mr. Broussard stated, I actually had a brother that completed suicide in 2016, and I wanted to let you guys know that my family actually has a neighborhood mental health awareness training and program, and they offer free training for neighborhood mental health awareness. It's BeTheOneToHelpSomeone.com. And so annually they offer courses with NAMI and try to get individuals in the neighborhood to sign up so that they can aid in our system when they know that's dealing with a mental health issue. So I just wanted to actually just piggyback off of that and put that information out there as well.
I apologize, Mr. Bo. Go ahead.
Whereas suicide remains the 12th leading cause of death in the United States and the 3rd leading cause of death among individuals between the ages of 10 to 19, 2nd leading cause of death for ages 20 to 34. And whereas in the United States over 45,000 people died by suicide in 2021, and whereas suicide rates have increased 30% over the last 2 decades, it is estimated that in 2021 there were 1.2 million suicide attempts. And whereas in 2021 suicide was the 10th leading cause of death in Louisiana, and whereas in 2021 704 people died by suicide in Louisiana, and whereas over 90% of the people who die by suicide have a treatable mental health condition, although often that condition is not recognized or treated. And whereas organizations such as the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention are dedicated to saving those affected by suicide through research, education, advocacy, and resources for those who have lost someone to suicide. Now therefore, I, M. Larry Richard, Parish President of Iberia Parish, do hereby designate September 4th through September 10th, 2022 as National Suicide Prevention Week in Iberia Parish. In witness thereof, I have set my hand in the seal of the Parish of Iberia, Louisiana, to be affixed this 7th day of September in the year of our Lord, 2022. M. Larry Richard, Iberia Parish President.
Let me go ahead and pass the resolution, but go ahead. There's a motion by Councilwoman Broussard for unanimous second. Hearing no objection, roll call members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion passes unanimously. Congratulations. Now moving on to summary number 145, introduced by Natalie Broussard of District 6. I'll need a motion.
Move.
Motion by Councilwoman Broussard. Second by Councilman Olivier. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
Yeah, Mr. Dean, you know, this is an easy one to recognize. He's been serving with the DA's office as legal counsel for the parish for over 13 years, and I wanted to recognize his retirement and just show some appreciation for what he's done. He's been through a lot in the last 13 years with the different administrations and the different issues that have come before the council. He served with boards and commissions. He has given up countless hours of family time going to boards and commission meetings at night, council meetings at night, and so I wanted to recognize that. But more than just what he's done for the council, he serves Iberia Parish in so many different other capacities. Even before being counsel through the DA's office, he was with the New Iberia Municipal Civil Service Board. He's been with the Iberia Kiwanis Club for over 40 years. That's just what he's done, a little bit of what he's done, but he's also instilled that in his family. He and his wife 5 years ago started the Iberia Mental Health Initiative to bring awareness for mental health and to try to help some of the things we just got finished talking about. You look at his children, his family, they serve our community in various ways. So it's not stopping with just him. He's instilled it in the next generation, and I know it'll be instilled in generations to come. So I know you don't want to come up, but you have to, Mr. Dean.
Yeah, at least say a few words at the podium if you wouldn't mind.
But before, I know Andy wants to say a few
I'm
words.
sorry.
I want to say some words, too.
Look, most of y'all know how I feel about Dean and the relationship we've had over the years, and I've spoken to him personally, but I do want to let y'all know that Dean's really been more than just a coworker or a colleague. He's really been a dear friend of mine since I've been here. Dean has a world of institutional knowledge and experience about Iberia Parish and Iberia Parish government that's really been invaluable to all of us, and especially to me. I'm going to miss him. I know y'all are going to too. Again, I've told him that personally, but I did want to say it publicly, but he is really going to be missed. Dean, good luck to you on your semi-retirement, because I know you still have that little office over there where you're still greeting people.
My calendar's filling up. I don't know. But I'm a lot more relaxed, thank y'all. But yeah, Ian's going to do a good job for y'all, and of course Andy, and it's been a pleasure to work with them. It's been a pleasure to work with you all. I hadn't worked with this council as much as some of the past. Mr. Brown and I go back a long way with previous councils when I represented the council more fully. But I want to thank y'all for y'all courtesies that y'all have shown to me. It's been a pleasure to work with y'all, and we'll be seeing y'all around. Thank y'all.
Enjoy your retirement and come and visit us.
We will. We will.
Thank you.
I believe that
Thank you.
Mr. Richard, you have something you want to say?
Dean is such a humble man, as you can tell. He didn't even want to get up to be recognized, but he's an unbelievable attorney. And Dean, matter of fact, Dean actually did some work for me when I built my first office building back over 20 years ago. So we go back and doing work together. But as far as Iberia Parish and representing Iberia Parish, For the last 6.5 years, almost 7 years, of course, I've been working with Dean, and I've been working with Andy, and now we have Ian here. And Dean he's a very thorough man in his job. He's very, very good in what he's doing. And we're truly going to miss it. I'm going to miss it. But I think I told you on Monday night, if I call you and you don't answer, I think I know where to meet you now. Yeah. Right? We talked about that on Monday.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Okay, so we're good. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Councilman Olivier, you had the second. Is there any discussion?
I just want to echo what everybody said about Dean. Dean, congratulations. Wish you the best of luck and enjoy that partial retirement. Thank you.
Certainly. Councilman Olivier yields back. Anyone else on discussion? Hearing none other. Is there a unanimous second on this one?
Requesting unanimous second.
I have a request by Councilwoman Brousseau without objection. Roll call members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hear no opposition. The ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, sir. Job well done. Summary number 146, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk. Oh, you're right. I apologize. Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption. There is none. Moving on to resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption. Summary number 147, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Airport Authority for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Thomas LeBlanc, whose term expires on November 25th, 2022. Applications of interest on file from Mr. Thomas LeBlanc, Jr.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Paul Landry, second Councilman James Trahan. Councilman Landry. Councilman Trahan. Members, any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Summary number 148, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Hospital Service District Number 1 Board for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Aquilin Reno Arnold, whose term expires on November 25th, 2022. Applications of interest of file from Ms. Emily Bro, Mr. Lynn Minville, and C, Ms. Aquilin Reno Arnold.
Okay, I need a motion to open up.
Move.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Brown. Members, if we can at this time, obviously there's 3 positions, 3 members voting. If we can keep the person in its same seat, if possible, please. If you can vote your cards, members. What happened? There's 2 6s. Vote. Are you through voting, members? Hey, man. You already took 30 minutes of my lifespan.
District 1, Ms. Arnold. District 2, Ms. Arnold. District 3, Ms. Arnold. District 4, Ms. Arnold. District 5, Ms. Arnold. District 6, Ms. Arnold. District 7, Ms. Arnold. District 8, Ms. Arnold. District 9, Ms. Arnold. District 10, Ms. Arnold. District 11, Ms. Arnold. District 12, Ms. Arnold. District 13, Ms. Arnold, and District 14, Ms. Arnold.
According to the votes, there's 14 votes for Ms. Arnold. Congratulations, Ms. Arnold. She has been reappointed to the hospital board.
Thank you.
Moving on to summary number 149, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Hospital Service District Number 1 Board for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Lynn Minville, whose term expires on December 27, 2022. Applications of interest on file from Ms. Emily Breaux, Mr. Lynn Minville, and Ms. Aquilin Arnold.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard. Second by Councilman Napier. Any discussion, members? At this time, remember, Ms. Arnold was selected for the last position, so that leaves Ms. Breaux and Mr. Minville. And this would be the seat opening for Mr. Minville, if you can, members. Are you through voting, members?
Did you want me to do a ballot for the last one? No. I didn't do a ballot for the last one, huh? Ms. Breaux?
Yes, she did. Last meeting.
District 1, Mr. Minville. District 2, Mr. Minville. District 3, Mr. Minville. District 4, Mr. Minville. District 5, Mr. Minville. District 6, Mr. Minville. District 7, Mr. Minville. District 8, Mr. Minville. District 9, Mr. Minville. District 10, Mr. Minville. District 11, Mr. Minville. District 12, Mr. Minville. District 13, Mr. Minville. And District 14, Mr. Minville.
And the votes have it. 14 votes for Mr. Minville. Congratulations, sir. You've been reappointed. Moving on to summary number 150, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Hospital Service District Number 1 Board for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Roy Romero. Term expires on December 29, 2022. Applications of interest on file. Ms. Emily Breaux, Mr. Lynn Minville, and Ms. Aquilin Arnold.
Do note, members, that Mr. Minville and Ms. Aquilin Arnold has been selected on other 2 positions, that therefore leaving only Ms. Breaux. I have a motion by Mr. Brown and a second by Mr. Landry. Mr. Brown on discussion.
I'll waive.
Mr. Brown waves. Mr. Landry. Mr. Landry waves. Any discussion, members on the main motion? Hearing none. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Breaux. Summary number 151, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Mosquito Abatement District Board, representing the business community for the remainder of a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Albert Moore, whose term expires on January 25th, 2024. Applicants of interest on file from Ms. Latifah Gray.
Do I have a motion? Move. I have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Olivier on discussion. Councilman Landry. Any discussion on the main motion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 152, introduced by the clerk of the council. I'm sorry. Congratulations, Ms. Gray. All right. Summary number 152, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Tourist Commission as nominated by Delcom Direct Seafood for a 3-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Tammy Gordon, whose term expires on December 31st, 2022. Applicants of interest on file from Ms. Tammy Gordon.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Saunier. Councilwoman Broussard?
Wait.
Councilman Saunier. Any discussion on the main motion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Gordon. Moving on to summary number 153, introduced by the clerk of the council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Tourist Commission as nominated by Friends of the Generate Bicentennial Museum for a 3-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Joyce Buller, whose term expires on December 31st, 2022. Applicants of interest on file from Mr. Ronald. Mr. Ronald. So,
Savon, right? I have a motion by Mr. Napier, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Napier on discussion. Councilman Landry. Any other main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Come on, guys. All right, congratulations. Everybody's so joyful tonight. Summary number 154, introduced by the Clerk of the Council. Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Robert B. Green Memorial Building Advisory Board for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Fred Wesley, whose term expires on October 1st, 2022. Applicants of interest on file from Mr. Fred Wesley.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Landry. Councilwoman Broussard.
I think we need to table it because Mr. Wesley has
For medical reasons. He was not able to be here tonight for medical reasons, and he has not addressed the council just yet. So I'll hold the table, go to discussion, then we'll come back for the table. I had a second by Councilman Landry on discussion. Good. Any other discussion on the main motion before the table, members? I have a motion on the floor to table by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Landry. Any discussion on the table? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Let me ask first.
To the next meeting.
To the next meeting? Okay. Table is clarified to the next meeting. Any opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Going to summary number 150. Nobody clapped on that one, did they? Summary number 155, introduced by the parish president. Madam Clerk.
A resolution amending the 2022 general fund budget in the amount of $13,000 to appropriate funding for a new website development for Iberia Parish government and its agencies, all to be funded from the fund balance previous years.
Do you have a motion? I have a motion by, was it Councilman Olivier, and second by Councilman Saunier? Councilman Olivier on discussion? Councilman Saunier. Any discussion on the main motion, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 156, introduced by legal counsel. Madam Clerk.
A resolution amending the 2022 Public Buildings Maintenance Fund budget in the amount of $18,394 for transfer to the Recreation and Playground Commission for the purchase and installation of a transfer switch at the Ward 8 facility for use as an additional transfer shelter location, all to be funded from the fund balance previous year's line item, and further authorizing the parish president to execute a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Recreation and Playground District and Iberia Parish government for the operation and use of said facility as an additional emergency shelter location. Note, a motion to suspend the rules is needed as this item was not considered by joint committee.
Somebody get Janice a bottle of water. I have a motion to suspend the rules by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Rawsonay. Any discussion on suspension of the rules, members? Hearing none, roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. The rules have now been suspended. I need a motion to open the main motion. I have a motion by Councilwoman Broussard, second by Councilman Rawsonay. Councilwoman Broussard on discussion.
Wait.
Councilman Rawsonay on discussion.
Took them out. What are we buying?
That's
the last one we did. It was like $7,000 or something. If I remember.
Ward 8, of course, is an old facility. They have to do a lot of work on the outside and the inside of that building to get it set up to be able to receive a generator. It's a lot of work. It's not
just putting the transfer switch.
It's not like the one you do when you do in your house or whatever. Yeah. Not at all. It's a lot of work.
So we're doing wiring. No. Yeah. All right.
So you got bids on this, or you?
Oh yeah, they got bids on it. No.
Councilman Rawsonay, are you finished?
Yeah.
Councilman Rawsonay yields back. Did
Michael.
Councilman Napier have a question?
Well,
go to her.
Yeah.
You took my time, sir.
I didn't hear you yield it, so that's why I'm asking. I just want to make sure for the record it was put on there.
Yes, you are on the ball. So, when did it come up that this is? Has this always been a facility being used?
No.
So when did
I guess about a year ago, during hurricane season, we talked about coming up with two sites in Iberia Parish for post-hurricane. And one of them is the Willowwood that we did. Actually, we wanted to do this one first.
Correct.
But we ran into a lot of problems. In fact, we ended up doing Willowwood first, and it was only like $7,000 or whatever the case is. We wanted to get an opportunity to install this thing probably till the end of October, maybe even November, because of
hurricane season.
Well, that's why we have to. And in fact, I talked to CERT, Natalie's team, to see if we can even look at possibly getting additionals, because you don't have a clue what's gonna happen. When a storm hit, we don't know where it's hitting.
Well, it's not only a storm, Mr. Eastshore.
Any type of emergency, any type of emergency.
So, I mean, there might be something that happens near
Right.
Willowwood,
Right.
you know, an 18-wheeler explosion or something like that, and we need to go to Generate.
Right.
Or there might be a train derailment in Generate, and we might
Right.
need it. So we're trying to get facilities all over the parish for if there's any
Type of emergency.
type of
So
emergency.
this is for a power outage.
No, it would be to provide, to transfer switch so that we could
Provide a
have a
generator.
generator
Right.
for a shelter. If we
And-
had opened that building as a
And if you
shelter.
remember in budget, I believe it was in the Parks and Rec budget to pay for that, and
Yeah.
then the council agreed to come back
Exactly.
to
Y'all talked about this a
reappropriate
long
that
time
fund
ago.
from public building, right?
Exactly.
So, I'm gonna ask you again the question that I asked before, and I know y'all were working on it, administration, but have we secured those generators possibly, or have that
Yeah.
source when this does happen?
Yeah, we have the generators, a standby generator from Public Works,
We have a standby generator?
from Public Works.
So we have two facilities now that'll be equipped to be able to hold a
We're
generator.
only gonna probably use it at one, yeah.
So in the event of a storm,
You're not gonna open up both of them?
we'll have just,
You may
Okay.
not need.
Okay.
the-
Can't
don't-
staff
well, I'm just hypothetically,
unless you
just,
have
just
We won't
asking.
be able to staff them. We won't
Okay.
have the people to do that. It's for one location at a time.
And let me,
One
let me ask you, so
location at a
when you take that generator from Public Works, are we not taking from something they ordinarily would
No.
use it
But we
for?
always have my man behind me, Mr. Brad, that might have additional generators also. So we,
Brad,
oh,
Brad's
Brad
a
done become my
lifesaver.
man now.
He's back there somewhere.
So,
Okay, good. That was
good.
just the concern I had, is getting the source, equipped.
No, we operating a little bit different than we used to.
And who is this, who's doing the job?
Who's in the job, Mike? Who's the company that was awarded? You can go pull it. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. This took place a while back. Can we give you that information,
Yes,
Laura?
please.
Okay.
And who did Willowwood? That one's completed, huh?
Yeah, Willowwood should be completed, yeah.
Hearing no other discussion, members,
But just call Amara, Natalie, and Mike will give you that information.
I'm sorry. Ms. Agur?
Yes, so the report in the resolution about amending the budget, we do not need that. We already have the money in the budget.
We did it through the budget process,
Yes, yes, that was already done, so like.
So you need us to omit that?
Take it out, and y'all would just do the authorization, to execute the CEA.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
Hearing no other discussion, roll call, members, those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 157, introduced by James P. Trahan of District 8. Madam Clerk.
A resolution requesting Public Service Commissioner Mike Francis to attend a council meeting to provide A, an explanation of how rates are structured for utilities, B, an explanation of infrastructure, storm restoration charges, and C, to discuss recent high utility bills.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Trahan, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Trahan, discussion.
Yes, I put this on here to try to get Mr. Mike Francis over here. So I have a few questions. Y'all might have questions for him that he can answer for us, and then the public can also see. I got a few questions about our rates and infrastructure and storm restoration charges. How is that structured? How they do that, and how it got to this point, and is there ever going to be any stop to it on the restoration for storm? So that's what I put it on there. Hopefully we'll get him out here and answer my question, anybody else's question that they have.
Councilman Trahan yields back. Believe Councilman Broussard. Any other discussion, members? I know we're gonna get a unanimous second for this. I know we will. Am I hearing that? I have a unanimous second offered by Councilman Landry. Hearing no objection, roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. Let's see how much room we have. I'll get back to you guys. Summary number 158, introduced by Eugene A. Olivier of District 10. Madam Clerk.
A resolution approving the payment of travel expense for council members to attend the 2022 Gulf States countries, counties and parishes Calcasieu to be held in Corpus Christi, Texas from September 22nd through the 24th, 2022 at an estimated cost of $1,300 per person. Note, a motion to suspend the rules is needed as this item was not considered by the joint committee.
Do I have a motion to suspend the rules? I have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Olivier? No, just suspension of rules. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, members, wait up. Y'all, the horse is getting out the gate quick. Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. I need a motion to open up the main motion.
Move.
I have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Olivier now on discussion on the main motion.
The Gulf State Caucus and Parish meeting is a caucus that all the coastal parishes of Louisiana participate in throughout the state, as well as Florida, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi. We all participate in this meeting. It's part of the NACO organization, and at this meeting we discuss issues like flood insurance, coastal restoration issues, Go Mesa, so forth. We actually advocate for coastal regions across the Gulf of Mexico. And the meeting this year, after 2 years, the meeting hasn't been held. It's the first meeting in 2 years for the Gulf Coast Caucus. It's being held in Corpus Christi, Texas. 3-day meeting, the 22nd through the 24th. I do plan on going, but I'm planning on staying only 2 nights. There's no registration fee. The registration fee was waived because they was able to collect enough money to book the hotel and stuff and put on the event. So all I'm asking for is a 2-night stay, $209 a night. If y'all can give me, I got the hotel expense of $490. If y'all approve that, that's all I'm asking for. Take care of my own travel expenses.
Just for clarification, members, before we go on, there is $795 in the travel allowance, so we're getting pretty tight for all those that would like to go. Mr. Olivier, are you finished?
That should be the last conference this year.
You promise?
Well, that should be it, right?
Thank you, Councilman.
Just to let y'all know, too, most other parishes in the state or around the country, each councilman has their own personal travel allowance, sometimes $3,000, $4,000. All I'm asking for is just a partial expense. And
You said $495, right? You're going to amend to
yeah,
$495?
$495 is good, yeah.
Okay, Councilman Olivier yields back. Councilman Landry on discussion. Councilman Landry waves. I'm pretty sure there is no other discussion. Councilman Napier.
Eugene, really? Really? How many, so there's Washington, that's February. July, could be.
Annual.
Yeah, no. Oh, no, these are annual. Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, what do you anticipate going there and bringing back to help us? You know, I just, I'm dumbfounded that this is even in.
I can answer that if I'm allowed to. Yes.
Okay, I'm not supposed to. Okay, counsel, please, let's just consider. I know
I'll give you that
we
chance.
love Eugene, and Eugene likes to travel. We know that, but even if it's $100, shouldn't we be spending that money in Iberia Parish? Just, you know, I know some of y'all is gonna vote just because it's for Eugene, but yeah, that is a little funny. But I'm just saying, I can't, y'all. I can't support that. I don't care if it was $90. You know, we got problems here. We need to take care of things here. You know, he's been to Washington, and he's just saying him. He didn't. Let's all go. We got $700. Let's spend it all. Right?
In Iberia Parish?
No, let's go to Corpus Christi. I don't know. Look, Eugene, I'm not against you. I'm just all this travel is. Anyway, I'm good, Mr. Chairman. I can't support it, Mr. Eugene.
Councilman Napier, years back. Councilman Olivier again?
Yes, I mean.
If you could just, let's put the questions or answers to the chair so we can remain in regular order.
If you know, as far as bringing money directly back to Iberia Parish is done through these infrastructure bills, ARPA funding, $13 million in ARPA funding. All this don't happen just by chance. This happened because members of local government around the country is at the table fighting and working in Washington to make sure local government is not left behind. You saw it with ARPA. You saw it with the infrastructure package. There's a lot of competitive funding in the infrastructure package that we as Iberia Parish can tap into to get funding for a lot of projects we need in infrastructure. That's why I've been sponsoring the workshop every Tuesday over here with certain members of the council. And everyone was invited, but there's a few of them that does show up to it. And we're talking about infrastructure and the needs of Iberia Parish, and we're hoping to, at the end of the month, be able to turn that list over to the parish president and get his consideration as well. But the bottom line is, if you're not at the table, you're on the chopping block with all these funding. So if you want to know what's going on out there, we got to be at these meetings. We got to find out. I bring the valuable information back to all the government agencies that's here in Iberia Parish, whether it's the hospital, whether it's the airport, whether it's the sewer district, water district, the administration. Whatever I gather in opportunities for funding is brought back to Iberia Parish. And we can't do that unless we know where it is and what funding is available out there. And, I'll be happy to allow someone else to participate in this. If, I'm doing it because I'm the only one that wants to do it. If anyone else wants to do it, hey, welcome to it. But understand that when I go to these conferences, the annual legislative, y'all just paid the registration fee. I came out of pocket to pay for the rest of the expenses. Airfare, hotel, plus my lost income from not working in my shop by going to these conferences. I'm representing Iberia Parish. I'm also representing the state of Louisiana because I serve on the Police Jury Association as well. I'm part of that organization. So this what I do is beneficial and is recognized across the country by elected officials across this nation. I'll leave it at that. It's a worthwhile venture. Thank you.
Councilman Olivier yields back. Anyone else on discussion? Councilman Landry, Paul Landry.
I know we got to be tight and stuff like that, but if anybody would come to the micro-construction meetings on Tuesday, Eugene has...
Talking to Mike, Paul.
Sorry, Mr. Landry. If you want to say again, the mic's on now.
Oh, I didn't know how to turn it on. This box gets in my way. So, we take time. My wife's not happy that I come every Tuesday at 5:30. I close my business early to come there, but Eugene has gotten a wealth of information, and what he knows about all this infrastructure coming down from Washington, all of us combined don't have it that big on our thimble. Andy could probably get up here and tell us how much money we got from BP when Romo was the parish president. We were the only parish that didn't attend, and we were the only parish that didn't get money. I mean, you got to go to these things. I know, Warren, I know you never went to one. You don't see the value of it, and I appreciate that. But I mean, we just, that's where we get the money from. And I just
looking forward, Mr. Landry. You like to go back a lot, but I like to take the call forward.
You're saying we wouldn't have got no money if you offer money if Eugene wouldn't have went to these conferences?
Who else is pushing it?
No, but I'm saying.
Hold on, gentlemen. Hold
on.
I
don't get that.
Mr. Landry's got the floor.
I'm not talking about the ORPA money.
Mr. Landry, if you can stay on the travel budget and not the Romo administration, that'd be nice.
I'm going back to show a pattern of Iberia Parish that we don't want to spend the money, we don't want to be representative, and we don't get anything. And I just believe that $495 ain't a whole bunch when he's probably going to put $1,500 out of his pocket with lost wages, meals, gas, and, maybe buying his wife a rose or something. But, I mean, the rest of us don't want to go. We don't step up to do the things Eugene does, but then we want to criticize Eugene for when he does the work. I mean, I just, $495, I mean, it's a mere drop in the bucket.
Thank you for your passion, Mr. Landry.
I'll pass it, Mr. Goshenson.
It's appreciated.
Warren, one final comment.
Let me just go around the table and I'll come back to anyone else on discussion on this. Councilwoman Brown.
Yeah, I just wanted to say not we, because I deeply appreciate the efforts that Mr. Eugene puts forward with attending these conferences, and I know a lot of the information that is there. If any of us aren't there, then how do we really know how to apply for these grants, how to get this funding? So I think it's more about the knowledge that Mr. Eugene receives while he's there and the information and him coming back and being able to share with us, then I think it's worth more than, the cost of travel.
Thank you, Councilwoman Brown. Councilman Olivier, back to you.
Just one final comment. If y'all recall in this council early, sometime last year, we passed a resolution asking federal lawmakers in Washington to actually fund some money in the transportation bill to help with evacuation routes on our coastal communities. I brought that resolution all the way to Washington with NACO after going through Police Jury Association, this Gulf Coast Caucus, South Region. I got it passed through all those organizations, brought it to Washington, passed it with NACO. NACO lobbied for money for the evacuation routes. And in the bill right now is $140 million for competitive grant funding that we can tap into to help with evacuation routes along the Gulf Coast communities. It's competitive. We have to compete for it with every other parish, but the money is there. And that's a resolution that started right here in this local government. And Larry can probably attest to that. Thank you.
State, and he sat and went to all of the different meetings with NACO, and I commend you for it. I mean, you're right, it's competitive, but I commend you for what you've done. I'm not getting involved with the council's vote. Y'all vote the way y'all want to vote, but the work that you have done, just like with the bridge work that we're doing right now. You know, we've got sellers taking a look at all of this here and trying to be able to get some grant dollars from. That's because of the knowledge, honestly, that you brought to the administration from the infrastructure bill. The administration, we have so much we can do. We can't do everything. You know, we're not everywhere. So at the end of the day, y'all make y'all vote, and that's what's going to happen with Eugene. But I just want to tell you, I appreciate what you're bringing. Yeah, and that's it for me. So I think Paul said it well.
Could I ask a question directly to Mr. Eugene?
Sure, Mr. Landry, if you can be respectful.
I will be respectful. So, Eugene, you do agree $495 is a lot of money?
Of course it is, yeah.
Okay.
You know, but
do you take health insurance from the parish?
I do not.
Okay, I was just.
Mr. Landry, I'm not certain that's germane to what we're talking about right now.
Well, I already said it, so it's out there.
Look, Councilman Landry, the other Landry.
D. Michael Landry. I'm gonna tell you what, I've been coming with Eugene on those infrastructure meetings since we started. I think 4 of us, 5 maybe at one time. Some councilmen want to do it, some councilmen's too busy to do it. Eugene has brought a wealth of information. We don't get the money right direct, but we get the effects of it. Somebody need to be at the tables, and I'm gonna support this one. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Councilman Landry. I just want to say before we end the conversation, I know it gets heated sometimes, and Paul likes to predetermine how I'm going to vote, but I don't disagree. There is some good benefits that come, and again, I voted against it most of the time when money got tight. I think the last couple of times I've been in it, since we've had some money and fixed our finances and been more frugal with it. But just to say for the record, we still have a little over $350 for that annual Christmas party, Mr. Napier. So you shouldn't be so sad about it. Anyways, so I have a motion to amend by Councilman Olivier for $385, and I believe there was a second by Councilman Landry, right?
$395.
Is it $395? $495. I'm sorry, $495. And there was a second by Councilman Landry. Is there any discussion on the substitute motion? Hearing none, roll call, members, and I'm sure this is unanimous. Roll call. Those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Those in opposition, please put up your hand. In opposition is Councilwoman Broussard and Councilman Napier. That motion passes 12-2.
Thank you.
Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing. There is none. Just to remind the general public, our next meeting is September 28th. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Whoa. Have a motion by Councilman Brown and Councilwoman Broussard. Any discussion? Roll call, members. Those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, hearing no opposition, the ayes have it, and the motion carries unanimously. We're now adjourned. 5 minutes.